What's up, LYLS Baddies? Welcome to another episode of Live Your Life Sis podcast. That was very high pitched. Anyway, I'm your host, Timmy, and this is my beautiful co-host.
Lola.
So, how are you doing today, Lola?
I am doing good. I'm hyped.
I'm hyped too. Yeah, we actually just finished listening to Burna Boy and Wizkid, our two
Ginger.
faves.
I know.
It's a great
If you have not listened to Made in Lagos by Wizkid,
what are you doing?
What are you doing?
What are you doing? Like, that's all I can ask. I just feel like you're missing some flavor, some
yes,
spice,
right?
You know, a lot of
just ginger. Oh, that's it. It's a missing ginger.
I love ginger.
Oh,
so
it's so good.
Anyways, for this theme is that I think these people are just like really doing well now. Like they're just elevating.
Man, I feel like one day we'll talk about like just Nigerian musicians. Like Nigerian musicians this year.
Yeah, we're gonna put you guys on. Like those are not on yet.
You know, we should start like a playlist. You know how you can like post like, oh my god.
Oh yeah.
LYLS playlists. What? Okay, yeah. We need to do that.
Yeah, we do that. So today we're going to be talking about social media. Mm-hmm. The T. Is there a lot of T in this? I don't think so.
Yeah, there is T in it.
Yeah.
There is T. Do you consider yourself like an Instagram baddie or like a Twitter warrior?
That one's hard though. I think I'm more like an Instagram person.
Yeah.
Like I'm more on Instagram.
She's not going to say baddie because she doesn't want to hype herself up, but she's an Instagram baddie, y'all.
Period.
Mm-hmm.
Period. Anyway, but I think I'm more of like Instagram, more of an Instagram baddie, more than like
I
Instagram.
I won't call myself a Twitter warrior because I don't like. But then I am always. I would say always, but I'm such a Twitter person.
Yeah, like, I think you're more. I always find you more on Twitter.
Yeah, I'm always on Twitter because I like to see what's going on around me. I like to hear the news. So Twitter.
This person's in love with CNN.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you have to keep up. You have to keep up with everything, and Twitter is it. You know, Instagram is like where you want to like see who is looking pretty. You know, and if you want to feel pretty.
No, I guess so. Yeah. But like, I find Instagram for like funny videos.
Yeah, from Twitter.
Whatever.
You might as well just go to Twitter and find the video. True. Or go to TikTok.
We just left out Snapchat like that.
Oh yeah, Snapchat. Okay, y'all, listen. Snapchat is the I won't say the word. But Snapchat really is the I won't say it. But
say the word. What's the word?
The shit, y'all.
You're kidding me. That's the word.
I know. I'm just trying to, I don't know who's listening.
Sure.
But like, Instagram, I say Instagram. Snapchat is the way I listen. Is the way I keep up with my like old friends because I make sure I force them to keep strict with me.
She forces us.
I force her to keep strict with me. And I have like 2 people or 3 people with like over 1,000. Over 1,000.
So like 1,000 days?
Yes, like 1,000 days. And they are so faithful. I love them. Shout out to my strict people. I have over like, I sound like such a baby, over 10 people. But then I love picking up with my old friends. And, even though we're not texting every day, it's good to see that, they are doing well, and for them to know I'm also doing well. So when I need to contact them, it's easier for us to have some form of connection.
Right.
So it's very helpful.
I mean, that's like the benefit of social media too. It's like building or staying in touch with people, having that connection. But I still think that's like there's a toxic side of social media, when you're dealing with how it almost becomes a necessity for validation from people. And it's almost like you really need to figure out how to balance that, And honestly, I'm not talking about anyone, but like I'm even talking about myself directly, and even Lola can relate to that.
Yes.
Like when it's almost like, what's the reason for posting this? What is the reason for tagging that person, putting that thing there,
sharing that post when it's full of shade.
Meanwhile, you could just communicate with the person directly,
exactly.
or not. So it's like there's so many different parts to it. It's almost like, really, how do you balance it?
Yeah, I feel like if you social media, I feel like you have to have a very secure personality for you to be able to really navigate social media. Because if you're not secure, that's when you start seeing, and I'm not saying that I'm a secure person. I feel like at some point in everyone's life, there's some points where you're very insecure about yourself, and some points where you're very secure about yourself. So when you're in those like insecure moments, that's when you start seeing your friend doing really good, just got this
Sure.
internship, just got this job, and then you're feeling some type of way about it, or you saw your friend is going out and then you're feeling some type of way about it,
or your ex boo thing,
or your ex boo thing is with someone else, and then you're like,
or it's commenting on somebody else's post, and like, who is that?
Exactly. That's if you're not secure.
That person's your friend.
Exactly. Shade.
Nobody know. No.
Okay, she got so serious. I was like, is there some serious?
No.
Okay. But yeah, like I feel like you have to, and I guess it's I'm more, I won't say worried, but it's a question for like the next generation. Yeah. I said next generation like I'm some older person.
Exactly.
But like the next generation, like maybe we need to kind of like maybe take the lead to show them how to really navigate balance social media the healthy way.
Yeah. It's almost like, I think the most important thing is just to think about the perspective and the motive. And honestly, just to be honest, social media I always see it as, there's so many good parts to it, honestly, but sometimes it's more or less the image that you want people to view you as. It's like you're creating this fantasy world because nobody really can follow you 24/7 a day and know what you do on a regular basis, know how you're feeling on a regular basis. So it gives you snippets. You're given snippets of who you really are, of yourself. And sometimes it can boil down to actually you creating that image that you want people to view you as, being intentional about it. And it really it brings into the question, why do you do that? What's the essence? And honestly, this honestly reminds me of one of my friends I spoke to about like I think a few months ago, and from social media it seemed like everything was fine, she was doing great, everything was good. But I had no idea she was going through so much. I hadn't connected with her in a long time. And there was just so much going on. And I just think it's important that we don't, get mesmerized or get lost in what people post and not actually genuinely have actual communication and connections with people. So check on your Instagram baddies too.
Check on your Instagram baddies, because not everyone is doing right.
Yeah,
not everyone is doing right. And you talked about we are creating this image of fantasy. But sometimes it's not like we're doing it intentionally. Sometimes it's just like you're just like following the trend. You just look good at that point, or maybe you want to feel good, and then you keep posting it every single day, because that's what's making you feel good. And then people who are seeing it are thinking, oh, wow, she's looking good every day. Like, every day she's popping. She has no issues. Look at her, looking so chill. And then you add music to the Instagram post. So then it looks like, you're vibing. Meanwhile, deep down, you just cried like 5 minutes ago.
Yeah. And, it's almost like, so do you necessarily have to put the ugly parts out there? What if you want privacy for the ugly parts too?
I mean, how do you balance it? I really don't know. Because if you want to not create the image, that means you have to also show the parts where you were really sad, where you were crying, the parts where you actually did not get that job, or you got the terrible news. And then you have to worry about you not having any privacy. And then you need to worry about people judging you.
Yeah. And I think that boils the question, like, I mean, if you're worried about people not judging, is it because you judge people? Yeah, you projecting something that, like, I mean,
something that you do already to other people.
Like, as much as, like, I think if we even bring this home and we talk about this, like, more personally, I think for me, when I try to view my social media, I try to make sure that I'm staying as true as I can to myself and not like creating a false image or, I try to check myself. Sometimes I do catch myself doing or posting certain things for, validation. But I think it's important that you just like check yourself, you hold yourself accountable, and you don't just do things just for people likes.
And just to add to that, it's also about knowing yourself, right?
Yeah.
So you have to know yourself.
Oh, yeah.
You need to check your motive. I think these are really, really two important things that we need to do.
Very, very key important things. Because if I think back to the time where I was facing identity crisis and honestly having issues with some friends, I think I would say that nobody honestly was aware about that, because I didn't portray that. I just portrayed the fact that, and sometimes when I did come across certain quotes or things that almost like resembled what I was going through, I wouldn't want to post it because I wouldn't want to feel so vulnerable. But it's just what I was going through. And I was going through the identity crisis, and I was, struggling at that point. But I didn't want to let people know. But then I think I had to ask myself the question, okay, so I want the people to know that I'm doing good, but I don't want the people to know that I'm struggling with this or struggling with that. It's almost like, what's the motive? What are you pushing forward? Why are you pushing it forward? And I think as much as you want to, bring privacy into it, the most important thing is just being as true to yourself as possible.
And I feel like even when you are being vulnerable, it can be very helpful to other people as well.
Yeah.
So maybe you just need to...
Because to be honest, I'm so sorry to cut you off. To be honest, those quotes that helped me, anytime someone was choosing to be vulnerable at that point.
Yeah. Exactly. And I was just going to say that maybe in general, we just need to create this social media culture where we can all be humans, where we can all show our vulnerable side, our terrible side, our really good side, and everyone can just like celebrate. And I feel like that's what I really like Twitter, because and people
just say
anything they want to say. I always see this joke on Twitter where people are like, Instagram, everyone is trying to act like they have it all together. Twitter, everybody's going crazy. No one is perfect. If you're trying to look for anybody to be sad with, go to Twitter, because you'll find someone. But at the same time, there's also this part of Twitter where it's just like everyone is judging, everybody can attack you and everything. So maybe, I don't know, we just have to find a balance. But I know ultimately we just need to create a culture where we are all being humans. And that even says, even us, where we're looking at people's pictures and looking at people's posts, we need to make sure that we're not just judging people anyhow, because they're also humans. And
so make sure you're not comparing yourself too.
Make sure you're not comparing yourself
as much as you're trying to make sure that you're not being judged, or you're not, being seen a certain way. Also, don't look at people a certain way too. I think it's so important to be as understanding as possible. So I think it's so important, to extend that same grace that you want people to extend towards you as well.
Yeah. But honestly, I'm loving social media. I don't think I can survive without social media now, even though as toxic as it can be. And don't forget, sometimes you might need to take some days off social media.
Sometimes you might, because to be honest,
though sometimes you might say that, I want to take off social media for a week, and then you just end up taking 2 days. No shade. But as long as you take some days off, that it works for you. A day off, that it works for you. As long as, honestly, we all need a break sometimes. So, go ahead, take that break if we need to take a break from social media. But we definitely cannot deny that social media has been really good to our generation.
Oh yeah, if I know we're just talking about Twitter, Snapchat, and Instagram, but there's so much more. TikTok. During
LinkedIn, this pandemic, can you imagine we're in a pandemic without social media?
Do you know how much mentally helpful TikTok was?
Oh my god!
Some people will not be willing to admit it, and I know some people here social media. Why are you talking about social media? If you're talking about social media, it's you're needy, or you need what's that they used to say when they will say something it's you're so focused on what people think about you. But to be honest, in this day and age and in this generation, social media is of great importance. People are millionaires through social media. People are building businesses.
People are making the money.
People are making that money. That's money. So
and people are gaining confidence.
People are gaining confidence through it.
People are discovering themselves too. They're coming and seeing other people doing things that you want to do. You're not alone. Exactly.
In the world that we're in today, how are you able to view plus size women? How are you able to change that image? How are you able to change that fatophobia?
Yes.
It's through content representation that is being displayed on social media.
Absolutely.
And I think it's so important that we have more conversations around this, instead of somehow shading it in a way of, it means that you are people needy or people hungry or attention seeking, but it's not the case. Honestly, it's not.
Yeah, it really is not the case. And sometimes you might just want to post some things and people will be like, oh my gosh, she wants attention. But then if you that's what we were saying before, you have to be very true to yourself and know yourself and be very secure in yourself. So regardless of what other people think, you know you're being honest with yourself, and that's it.
Yeah.
Social media, honestly, the way I'm seeing it is go there, grab what you want, and leave. You want to go there to learn something new, grab it and leave. Honestly. You want to go there for representation, grab that and leave. Don't go there, start judging people and start talking. No.
Yeah, and as much as you're grabbing things, also give, because you're taking as your, also give. Give representation, give joy, give love, give confidence. Give wisdom words, wisdom gems, the gems that you can give. Give that struggle, give that crisis, what you've learned. The lessons you've gained.
Speaking of give. Why don't you guys just follow us on Instagram?
True.
That's a good way to start. Right. That's a good way to start.
So follow us on Instagram at LYLS
podcast. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
LYLS podcast on Instagram and on Twitter. Follow us, hear our content.
Let us know.
Comment joy. Give. And send our stuff to other people.
Period.
We're begging. We're not begging. But they were just telling you, give. That's a good way to start.
So, give and take.
Exactly.
Because life is give and take.
Life is give and take, man.
So,
but yeah.
Join the conversation, subscribe, let's change the narrative. And please, 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 follow us.
Yes, follow us. And subscribe to, you can find us on Apple Podcast, on Spotify, on Anchor, on YouTube, on Instagram, on Twitter, everywhere. So yeah, and also share if you listen to something and you like it, share with other people in comments. And what's the word on rate? Is it rate or review? Rate and review on Apple Podcast. We'd love to hear you guys' input on this.
Yeah. Are you a Twitter warrior? Are you an Instagram baddie?
I used to on Snapchat like me.
Snapchat. Used to do streaks. I have nothing against you guys. But yeah, so, comment, subscribe. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this. And we will see you guys in our next episode. Bye.